So, we're in a different spot now. I wanted to briefly talk about um, traveling, being overseas, and kind of like just slice of life, slice of life and pace of life in general and daily living. Sorry about the noise at the back. As you can clearly see, it's under some sort of renovation. This is the National Museum of Singapore. And I thought I'll sit here because something that I do enjoy visiting overseas is museums, although I don't go to as many as I want to. Because after having had the privilege of traveling overseas a few times, I've come to realize something about my own traveling patterns. One of which is I don't super enjoy packing my travel day with like a lot of things to do. I over time I've gotten a bit more into kind of just treating my time overseas as like I want to see something over there that I can't really see in Singapore, but at the same time I don't want to be too like super hurried, like trying to fit a lot of like places of interest in one place in one day. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but I don't want my whole trip to be like that. Anyway, what my trip usually looks like, especially to a place, a city in particular that I've been to before, is I tend to just wake up late, hang out at some cafe, get lunch, go somewhere interesting, maybe a museum, maybe not a forest, like maybe like a sort of park, and then go somewhere else. Sometimes I like to go hiking when I'm in Korea. It's kind of sort of an in-between. Not the super like difficult, everything is fully nature kind of hike, which I don't think I'm equipped to do. But it's also not the kind of like if you've been in Singapore, you know we don't really have any place that's super suitable for hiking, just because like nothing is really very high up. So anyway, my point about saying all of this about traveling is really something about like a bit of a parallel. So as much as I've tried to bring in the kind of like typical pace of life that I have living normally into my travel days, I've also thought like what about travel and my days and my pace of life there that I would enjoy and that I want to have on a more regular basis while I'm in Singapore, where I usually live, right? I mean, where I live basically. And that has been an interesting experiment in the sense that I think it gave me a different perspective to look at how I spend my time, my free time in Singapore. And the days that I come out to film these videos are kind of a bit of a weird in between of like free time and not work in a capitalist sense, but just like work in general. Like I enjoy making these videos, but it is effort and time, right? So it's not quite the same as free time per se. But my point of it is though that like I have been in a place where sometimes when I go out and hang out with friends, I kind of just, how do I put this? I just want to get to the place where we agreed to meet and then talk to my friends, and like the focus, like the bulk of the energy we place in that particular meeting with my friends, and then kind of like the traveling to and fro is just like stuff that you need to get through to get to the point of the destination where I get to talk to my friends, right? But when I'm traveling, especially when I'm traveling alone overseas, I enjoy a lot of the time spent actually being on a form of transport, like a form of traveling. So, my favorite I think are buses, and then high-speed trains, regular trains, subways. not a big fan of plane rides, not a big fan of car rides in general, but I think, yeah. So as much as I can, I always try to explore a city by taking the bus. I think when I'm new to a city, it's always fun to just sit on the bus and look out, um, look at the scenery that I've never seen before. And it's very funny because I've always observed how the people around me, like, they're just getting through their day to day. They're just getting to work, getting home, running errands, whatever it is. And here I am, not here, but like there I was, a tourist looking around a place that they've seen many, many times with fresh eyes. And like the most mundane thing seems interesting to me because I'm a tourist there. And like I take the bus in Singapore too. I travel like in the form of like public transport and all that stuff in Singapore too. And sometimes when I'm on it, and especially when I'm like on a bus going to work or whatever, it's easy to kind of switch off and go like just scroll on my phone, plug in music, just listen and like ignore everything else, or just like take a nap until I reach my destination. Like all very normal things that I do and everybody else does. But like sometimes when I do have the energy though, I sit on the bus or the train or the subway and I think, what if today instead of being me in Singapore, going about my regular day-to-day life, I am me the tourist when I'm overseas, but instead of being overseas, I'm just, in Singapore. And it's funny how just that switch in perspective kind of lets me look at Singapore with new eyes, with a new sense of appreciation, and allows me to appreciate the mundane in a way that I think it's easy to take for granted and easy to forget when you're just caught up in the hustle and bustle of regular daily life. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say really. I was on a particularly long bus ride today to get to where I was filming, and I actually had quite a lot of fun just sitting on the bus, especially when it was quiet. And that made me think about how I usually feel when I'm on the bus, when I'm overseas alone traveling by myself. And how I kind of can get that same feeling actually when I'm in Singapore. It's just that I need to be a bit more mindful to like remember that. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about for today. Thank you for listening to this ramble. And if there's anything you'd like to share from what you've learned in your travels, down in the comments below, let me know what you think. That's all for today. It's been Kian from Option C. See you next time.